Welcome to the Beach House today. I'm Kelly Copeland, and this is my friend Jerri Ann, and you've joined the Kellie and Jerri show. And today we're talking about a topic that's really helped both of us to relate to children and family and friends, and that is the 5 love languages. You've really done some study on it.
I did. I actually taught this at my dad's church. I did like a 5-week series on it because it impacted our family in such a way. I read this book, and one day, the 4 Savells, we were on the plane together, and I asked them, do you know what my love language is, and do you know what yours is? They didn't even know what I was talking about. So I shared with them this book by Gary Chapman, and Kelly, it really helped our family when, I was like in my 40s, and my parents were just learning like the way we all of the primary love languages, we all like to receive them, but there's one that stands out the most to us. And when you find that out, it really can help your family. So,
well, that's true. And I love that they have one for children and one for teens, which can be very, very helpful because a lot of times people are talking at cross purposes. And like anything else, personality definers, it's not perfect, but it helps. It helps to really also be purposeful.
Well, oftentimes you can be thinking you're speaking love to someone, but it's like almost speaking a different language. They're not hearing the way you're interpreting because that's not their love language.
Well, we all have a particular, and maybe you're a mixture of two. Maybe you don't know what you are. There are an online quiz you can take. We'll give you that information at the end of the show. But before you take a quiz and find out about yourself, we'll share some things and let you know what the different things are that we've learned in this book, the 5 love languages, and just talk about each one, and maybe it'll help you identify.
Yeah. And there's a thing called the love tank. And that's, I'll read it actually from the book. So I'll quote him here. He says, every person has a love tank inside. One's love tank is full when you feel extraordinary amounts of love. Deposits must be made to keep it replenished. It says, I'm convinced that keeping the emotional love tank full is as important to a marriage or a relationship as maintaining the proper oil level to an automobile. Running your marriage or a relationship on an empty love tank may cost you even more than trying to drive your car without oil.
Well, if we want to say I love you effectively to the people that we love, we really do need to find out what their language is. What do they speak? It's like trying to speak English to somebody who speaks Greek or Spanish. Right. It's just, I had a bunch of Greeks in my home last week with Jenny, and her friends were in town. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I have no clue. Like a little Spanish I can understand, but it's all Greek to me. And so you could be talking I love you to your kids or your spouse or your friends, and it's all Greek to them.
Yeah, I think it's so important with our children.
It really is.
Finding out what theirs is. So do you know them? Do you know what the 5 are?
Yes. Okay, I've got them on here, but I'm not looking. It's words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, physical touch, and...
wow, and I thought I knew them.
Quality time. Yes,
I thought I knew them all pretty well.
I know, I could say them yesterday. But.
Yeah, so it's so important, and like Kelly said, you can take a quiz online and find out what yours is, but it really changed our family's lives when we found out. But Kelly tagged me the other day on this. I thought it was really cute. The 5 love languages as applied to tacos. So words of affirmation, your tacos are delicious. Acts of service says, I made you tacos. Receiving gifts says, here's a taco. Quality time says, let's go out and have tacos together. And physical touch says, hold me like you would a taco.
That's great.
It's so cute, but it's true. We all have a different love language, and when you find that out, what yours is, and then what the people closest to you are, then it really does help a relationship.
It does, but it takes a little self-examination to know. And honestly, if I can just be honest, I've thought at different times I was acts of service, and I've thought I was words of affirmation, but y'all know our story. If you've been watching us very long, I thought, was I just words of affirmation because I had abandonment issues and I needed to hear words? So now I'm questioning myself. And was I just acts of service because I had 4 kids under the age of 8 and I needed help all the time?
But when I think of you, I told you, when I think of Kelly, the first thing I think is gifts. She's a gift giver. You've been giving to me for years. You're always so thoughtful.
Well, I think when you said that to me, we talked about this yesterday, just as we were talking about this show, and I thought, I do when I go somewhere, I'll see something, I'm like, oh, I'd love to buy that for so-and-so, or they would love that. So
you do that a lot.
That may be more natural to me, which is maybe why I didn't recognize it. I don't think about it. Mm-hmm. You don't really have to think about the one that you operate in. You just have to think about everybody else.
So you're not sure yet, or maybe a combination of some of those?
Probably a combination. I think I give love with acts of service. I'm pretty confident about that. I want to do something to help people. Yeah. And sometimes my kids are like, stop helping me.
Do you know what mine is?
Yours is got to be words of affirmation.
Yeah, definitely words of affirmation. I think with my family, when they found that out, I told my dad, I would rather hear you say to me that you're proud of me than honestly handing me $100 bill just to know that my dad or my mom's proud of me. And so he jokingly says, well, had I known that years ago, I would have saved a lot of money if I could have just said, I'm proud of you. I'm like, no, I'll take the 100 with you saying you're proud of me.
Well, I think you described pretty good words of affirmation. That's the need you have. Mm-hmm. And to hear, I'm proud of you, or to hear that you're affirmed. I think Lindsay is, like, I open their cards, Lindsay's, and actually Jenny's and Rachel's both. I don't know if it's their language or not, but I always think, man, they put so much thought into the words they're giving me. I want to be better at that. So I don't think that's a language that I give because I always want to be better at that. Mm-hmm. But I get the sweetest cards from them.
Yeah.
And then our dads, I think, are definitely
my dad,
big time givers.
His is a gift giving. And my mom, she's acts of service. And when I was like a young married girl, my mom would come to my house and she would start cleaning. And I would get so offended because I was thinking she didn't think I was doing it good enough. But because
your words of affirmation.
Yes. And so when we read this book together and I shared insights with them, I was like, that's my mom. My mom will stop and clean and scrub, and that's just her way of showing love. So now that I know that, I'm like, come clean my house anytime you want. But that's just her way of demonstrating. You know that about her. She's just always serving
doing for people.
So once you find that out, it helps so much, and I'm not offended anymore. Mom, clean all you want.
I think it's the worst when the two gifts kind of butt heads. Like, those are the way that happened in y'all's life. It's like, because somebody could give me money, and even if that's not my love language, it's not offensive. Mm-hmm. But if it's butting up against your the way you receive, then it can really cause huge problems in a relationship. I ministered to a father and daughter one time, and they were having serious, the biggest problems, and I talked to both of them separately, and in about 2 hours, that book fixed their whole future.
Wow.
And she was running, who knows how it fixed her, she was running from ministry, from her dad.
Wow.
And she said, all he ever does is try to buy me off. Mm. And I kept trying to remember, I think what she wanted was quality time, which is probably the case for a lot of preachers' kids, that are busy parents and working parents, they want quality time maybe. But he's like, I just want to bless her, and she just wanted quality time. She didn't want to be quote unquote bought off. Mm. And he's trying to love her. I bought her a car. I bought her this. He's saying I love you as hard as he can.
Right.
But it was the opposite of what she was hearing.
Yeah, it's so important. I know with my daughter, she's in college now, and quality time's important to her, but I think her primary love language is gifts. So I've been trying, you know, when she's at school, I write her little notes and stick a gift card in there or some cash in there just to let her know that I'm thinking about her. And she texted me just the other day and she said, Mom, it means so much to me that you're doing that you're letting me know you're thinking of me and, you know, I'm on your mind, and throwing a little gift card in there doesn't hurt either. So,
no, that's the truth.
But just knowing that, because if I didn't know, I could just, you know, get busy, and that's the way of demonstrating love to her. So I think it's really important with our children and the people we're closest to that we find that out and then work on that.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think the point is being purposeful. Whatever it is, being purposeful about thinking, what do they need to hear it? You know, Max is, I'm totally 100% sure, we're all 100% sure he is physical touch. Because when he was a little boy, I'd go to the school or something. I remember one time I came back from a trip and I stopped at the school because we had been gone like, I don't know, a week or 10 days on a long trip. And so I stopped at the school, went to the gym where he was, and I was just going to say hi, you know, because it'd been a while. And he saw me, and he didn't care what his friends thought. He didn't care what anybody thought. He ran to me, and he knocked me flat on my back right there in the gym just to, you know. And sometimes everybody's like, Max, but it's his love, you know. And so I remember at one point, you know, here we are, I'm a single mom now, I'm working, he's getting less attention and less, you know, less of my time and less of touch and everything. And he would just come need to wrestle. And I asked Kim's husband, Riley, to come play with him one time. I said, just knock him down and wrestle him. And then we ended up with Doodles, this big dog.
Yeah.
She's a golden doodle.
Yeah.
Big dog. She would knock him down.
And he liked that.
Oh my goodness. It was like, it was the best.
That's
but
funny.
It met that physical touch.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, I'm physical touch is not one of my primary love languages. People always joke, like, if Jerri hugs you, she really likes you. So my kids joke with me because my mom hugs like this, like tap, tap, tap. I do too, like to my children. I'll be like, tap, tap. And they're like, no, Mom, hug me. Like, hug me. And my son, Mark James, he's like, Mom. And he does the same thing though, tap, tap, tap. I'm like, hug me. But if it's your love language, you want to, you know who's a really good hugger? Like tight is our friend Simbra.
Yeah.
She like hugs you with her whole, you know, she hugs good.
It's like years worth of love that has just gone into
like,
that hug.
Tap, tap.
It's the truth, but you know, it's just critical to find out. Because think about, we're sitting here laughing, but it makes you know to hug her back that way too.
Yeah,
you know?
It's important.
It is important.
Yeah. So we're talking about words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, gifts, and what did I leave? Quality time.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Obviously, that's not one we think about. Maybe that was a good thing, because being preachers' kids,
I know.
it would have been bad if that was our...
That was important to me, though, because, you know, I rarely saw my dad growing up. And I remember we went to Grace Temple. And if he was ever home, I just thought of this, if Daddy was ever home on a Sunday and he got to be like a normal dad and go to church with us, I remember Pastor Nichols. He was just trying to honor my dad. But he would say, Brother Jerri, come sit up on the stage. And I remember just like, can he just be my daddy today? I just wanted him to sit right there with us. So maybe quality time.
Well, you know what, though?
Something I needed.
It was something we needed, but I don't know. Maybe you can tell me if it was the same for you. There was such a grace on me for that.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
it didn't bother me. And when we were together, I remember writing this in a diary or on a paper or something. I just remember writing it. When we were together, like for vacation, and my parents would just travel, and then we'd go off. Like, we'd go to Arkansas for a month of just fishing and lake and just nothing, you know? That was... kind of didn't prepare me for real life, but we had that quality time. It was just more in lump sum. But I just remember that would be the best. But I was okay with without it. And I think that's why even now, maybe we don't throw that one out so easily. But the Lord helps you.
There's a grace, I think, for us to be preachers' kids, and our dad's traveling a lot. And, I'm getting all that back now. I spend more time with my dad now.
Isn't that awesome? Y'all get to do TV together.
Yeah, we travel, and I spend more time with him the last few years than I did my whole childhood. So I think God's just, bringing that time back to me.
That's true. And if you haven't watched, I'll give you a plug here. If you haven't watched Brother Jerry and Jerri Ann on their broadcast, his broadcast together, you should watch it on BVOVM because y'all are so natural and just really wonderful. I love it.
Thanks. I enjoy doing it with him.
And father-daughter love tank is important. If I heard somebody say, if somebody's going to fill up your daughter's love tank, so, moms, dads, but dads especially can fill that tank up, I think. Do it, or they'll be looking for somebody else too. Jenny, it makes me think about Jenny. I think she's acts of service. Like one time, her dad came to have lunch with her, and he was always working and busy and all that. So that was a really big deal that he came to have lunch with her. And so later that day, we were talking about it. She was telling me all about it. She was so excited. And he said, well, it really wasn't much trouble. I had to go such and such anywhere. I thought, oh, you ruined it. She wants you to go to most massive trouble for her and come see her. But he was like, oh, no, it wasn't much trouble. She was, it wasn't any trouble? Because she wanted him to have been inconvenienced.
Yes.
So it's really, we can mess it up even by not knowing what the love language is.
Well, I think it's really important what you said a few minutes ago, that if a parent is not filling that love tank, or a spouse.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Yeah, there's someone else, that they're going to be looking for to do that. And again, I stress the importance of doing this early on with your kids. I know my sister tells a story of her daughter when she was younger. I think her love language is quality time with her mom. They're very close. They
do have a lot of time together.
Yes, but she was a little girl. My sister was really busy working at the ministry and just traveling and just very busy. And Cassidy was pulling Terry into the playroom, and she wanted Terry to play with her. So Terry says she sat in the playroom. She was there with her, but she was working.
Yeah.
And so she felt like, well, I'm here. I'm here in the room. And the Lord dealt with her, that you're there, but you're not there.
Present.
And so she put her work down, and she actually spent time. And Cassidy was like, that's all she wanted. And she says that at one point, I think they were going to go on vacation or something. And Terry said, where do you want to go? And she goes, I just want to play with you, Mom. That's all she wanted, was her mom and quality time. So again, it's just so important that you find out early on what your kids' love language is, and that you're able to minister that to them.
Because all the time, the frustration of thinking, why aren't they receiving my love? It really, the enemy can get in there and twist it like he did with that father-daughter.
Yeah.
I think it happens a lot in between spouses when, maybe they've got a lot of money and somebody's just buying, Louis Vuittons and clothes and shoes and stuff, and really all they want is, help with the kids on a Saturday, or even picking up your clothes in the bathroom, that would minister to them.
Yeah. Acts of service, if that's, your spouse's love language, then being able to recognize that, identify it, and help them, that's important to be able to do that.
And then if gifts are the love language, then it's going to matter. Maybe somebody needs to save for that Louis Vuitton and not buy, little nothing things. And you can't always buy Louis Vuitton, but I'm just saying, save up and buy something great.
Yeah.
Because it matters.
I have a friend that her love language is gifts, and I don't get that because mine's not at all. It's sweet and kind with people, but I don't ever expect, things. And but she's really into gifts. And it's important to her, the thought that you've put into it, because I tend to go buy a gift card and But she wants to know that you loved her so much and you spent time picking this out. So I got to get better at that.
Well, and I think, Kim is quality time. And so, because obviously that's not mine, as we've realized today, birthdays. Like, we think about birthdays, and for me, I'm like, I don't care what day we celebrate. Just whatever day is fine, a month later, give me a gift, that's fine. But for her, it's like, one time I said, we're going to go out and eat for your birthday because it already passed. She goes, why? It was 2 days ago. Why now? But, and her family's awesome at this. They take the time, they all do birthdays and they do it on the day, and that says I took my day and I devoted my day to you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's awesome. So we've had to work on that, to be on the same page of love.
Well, when you work on it and identify it, then those are things that you can, strive to get better at. But if you don't know, then you don't know.
Well, it makes saying I love you really pretty easy when you know how.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna, I think, head to the street. Is that what we're gonna do?
Yes.
So man on the street, Chi-Chi, our friend, is gonna head out on the street and ask some people if they know their love language or their significant others. So watch this.
What is up, Kellie and Jerri show? It is Chi-Chi here. I am your man on the streets. And again, you guys are in the beach house. You guys are soaking up the sun. I'm soaking up the sun out here in the city. And today we are talking about love languages. Do you know your love language? How does your love language affect you? How does your love language affect others? How does your love language affect your relationships? We're asking all those questions today on the Kellie and Jerri show. Come with us. Come check it out. So how do you think the realization of your love languages has impacted y'all's marriages?
Well, I think for me, because my love language is acts of service, that's how I show my love to my husband. And, vice versa. I mean, for him, I need to communicate with him a little bit more on the things I want him to do to show me love, because his love language is different than mine.
Now, my guy here just said he is reading a book about the 5 love languages right now. And so I want to know, in reading this book, what has this book taught you about yourself? What has this book taught you about love languages? And what do you look forward to after reading this book?
Yeah, so I want to figure out how to show that love to other people. Like my boy, Evan, his is quality time. That means I need to spend time with him. I need to talk with him. Valerie's, hers is words of affirmation. I need to make sure her love tank is filled to where I can encourage her and I can give her affirming words. So this book has taught me how to, deliver love languages instead of focusing on mine.
So Sarah, I asked you first, why do you think knowing these about yourself and knowing these about in a relationship sense is important?
Well, everyone feels love differently, and that's important for me to know about myself. But it's also important, definitely, to know about someone else so that you know how you can best show someone that you care about them and love them.
We are on the streets out here. We know you guys are back in the beach house, and you know what? I'm gonna use their help. All right, on the count of 3, we're just all gonna yell back to you, Kellie and Jerri. Can we do that? Is that cool? Y'all ready? We just gotta look in there. Y'all want to point too? We look fierce like that? Yeah. All right, here we go, guys. 1, 2, 3. Back to you, Kellie and Jerri.
Well, I think Chi-Chi does a great job of getting people to talk. He kind of makes me want to ignore the people in the mall with the clipboard.
Yeah, he's great at it. I love it.
And getting people to dig into their business about how you say I love you.
I know. It's surprising, though, that you can have a best friend or a spouse and not even know. And like I said at the beginning of the show, the 4 Savells, we were sitting on the plane together and we really didn't know each other's love language. So it's amazing that you can call someone your close friend or spouse and not even know their love language.
So I think we all have a challenge ahead of
Yeah.
us. I mean, even knowing yourself. And maybe you think, oh, I've already done that quiz. Well, if it was very long ago and you've had realizations of yourself like I have, maybe you need to do it again. Like, I feel like it would help me to go back and do the quiz again. And I love the Chapmans. They have an online quiz you can take to help you determine what is your love language.
Yeah. So the Chapman books, like Kelly said earlier, there's ones for couples, for kids, and I just encourage you to go get this and really find out what your love language is and what ministers to you, and then find out your significant others, what theirs are, and then focus on that. How can I be a blessing to my children today, or my friends, or my spouse, and minister to their needs by demonstrating love that they hear? Mm-hmm. You know, we talked about the different love languages, and you might hear it in Chinese or Russian, but speak their love language so that you can give them 100% of what they're needing.
That's a
you
good
want to
challenge.
pray for everybody today?
Yes. Well, Father, we just thank you that you loved us enough to make us all different, that we're not cookie cutter people. But on the other hand, Lord, you give us wisdom on how to love each other, and that when we purposely look into the people that we love and that we are in relationship with, when we purposely care and love them with your love, you will give us wisdom on how to say I love you, on how to hear I love you. Lord, if there's somebody telling me that they love me and I'm not hearing it, I'm asking you to open my eyes. Open our eyes, Lord, to your love and to the instruction that you'll give us when we open up our heart, like Jerri Ann said. And we thank you for it, Lord. I thank you that the Kellie and Jerri viewers are the most loving, effectively loving people on the planet. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
You guys are. We've got the best viewers.
So you said yours was acts of service? You think?
I think.
Okay.
Or giving. Or what?
Can I get
me
you
coffee?
coffee
Oh,
or
thank you.
show you some
Yeah.
way of loving you today? Because I love you.
Well, you always talk about cleaning my closet. So.
Oh, I did that many of times.
No, you know, we really enjoy doing this together, and we enjoy being around you. We enjoy our partners. We got to be with some of our partners just last week, and it's a blessing. And it's a blessing the way you guys love us, because I think y'all may know us better than we do.
Well, the words that we see on our Facebook and Instagram, it just blesses me because mine's words of affirmation.
Well, and that's always meant a lot to me too. So the words that you send us, the words you type us, the words you message us, even your testimonies. When you tell us a testimony to me that says thank you,
Yes.
When you give us what this show has done in your life, it tells us that what we're doing here today is making a difference,
Yeah.
and it matters. And to me, that's a gift of act of service, quality time. It's all of it wrapped into one. And we love you.
We love
you.
Have a great day, and we'll see
See you at the
next
beach
week at the beach house.
house.